Hey, what's going on, guys? In this lesson, we're going to be talking about the major pentatonic scale. I get so many questions about this particular scale only because it's so popular and so common, and it's easy to use and easy to place. All right, so we're going to be breaking that down note by note coming up. All right, guys, this is going to be a pretty quick lesson, but stay tuned to the end. I'll show you some different positions of how to play this scale that'll actually allow you to come up with some pretty cool riffs and pretty cool licks. All right, so stay tuned to the end for that. We'll go over that later. All right, so anyway, first and foremost, you should know your major scale before you know the pentatonic scale, because the pentatonic scale is derived from the major scale. All right, so I would suggest you go take a look at the major scale. There's tons of lessons that I have out that are on the major scale. It's pretty easy to learn, just for a quick reference. And of course, I'm doing this in C just to make it easier for you guys so you can follow along. All right, so the pentatonic scale, let's figure that out. Let's figure out what it's made up of. The pentatonic scale is made up of the root of the major scale, the 2 of the major scale, the 3 of the major scale, the 5 of the major scale, and the 6 of the major scale. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. All right, follow me. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. And there's several ways to play that. Like I said, I'll be going over that in a minute. But let's go over the first way, or one of the first ways most people learn the major scale. On guitar, on bass guitar. All right, so we have 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. I'm talking finger numbers now. All right, now as far as scale degrees, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1 or 8. All right, or octave. Okay, so we're using the first note. What I say before, I'll put it back up on the screen. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and I'm back to 1. All right, I'm going to the octave of the C, of the low C. All right, so in all, the pentatonic scale is a 5-note scale. I know I'm playing 6 separate notes, but 2 of them are the same, the C and the C. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and repeat of the first note. All right, so that's really as simple as it is. That is the pentatonic scale. And because it's so popular and it's so common, the reason why it's so popular and so common is because you can use it almost over a lot of major chords or a lot of major scales and kind of get away with it, only because you're using some of the most used, the most common tones of that scale. So you're using the root note, of course, right? The third, which is a major third. All right, so depending on what major scale you're playing or what major chord you're playing, it's going to be a major third somewhere in there most times, right? Fifth, which is mostly the same for every chord or for every scale. The 6th, which is a major 6, and you're back home. So you're skipping around to those, to those really important notes. I wouldn't say important notes, but they're just commonly used. All right, so it's easy to get around it. Let's say if I was playing in Mixolydian scale, Mixolydian groove, or anything like that, doesn't matter. I'm playing. And that by itself is almost a pentatonic scale minus 1 note. It's just the little things that are tweaked differently. So I'm just playing, the infamous tune, the chicken. All right, so I'm playing that, but if I wanted to solo or improvise over that, or even make a bass line, I can play or use that pentatonic scale, which is the first note, second note, third note, fifth note, sixth note, and then the octave. All right, so I can get away with it. All right, so it's an easy outlet to be able to improvise or solo with. All right, the pentatonic scale is used for so many things. I mean, even the iconic song by the Temptations, My Girl. All right, so that's verbatim the pentatonic scale. All right, so bass lines are made up from this. You probably heard this before and didn't even realize you were hearing it. It's the pentatonic scale. This is the major pentatonic scale. All right, so there's several ways to play this scale. I think you saw me playing in a different position up here, but I'll show you that. Like I said, at the end, I'll show you exactly what I was doing. But anyway, we're playing the major scale, the major pentatonic scale down here, 2, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4. Pretty simple, right? Okay, so we can switch that. Always remember there's another way to play something. There's always another way to play a scale, or always another way to play arpeggio chord, whatever, what have you. All right, so we're going to be switching this, and it's beneficial to learn different positions and different fingerings for different things. All right, so you can be more versatile depending on what part of the fretboard you're on, or what part of the scale, you know, whatever you're playing, doesn't matter. It depends on what. Say if you're playing a song, it depends on where you are in the song, or where you are in the fretboard. So you can easily find your place faster. All right. It's just easier and better to know, you know, be versatile, know different ways to play the scale. All right. So we're playing it up here. We're going to be playing on a C on the E string 8th fret. I can play it the same way I played it down here on the 3rd fret, but I'm playing it up here on the 8th fret. So I got 8th fret, 10th fret, 7th fret, 10th fret, 7th fret, 10th fret. Okay. I can actually extend it. I can keep going. So if we were to keep going with the pentatonic scale, if I were to keep going up, you know, kind of extending the scale. All right, the next note will be D. All right, so the next note, the second note of the scale is D. So if I were to keep, and I just so happen to have that D right on the 7th fret there, if I were to keep going. All right, next note would be E. All right, the 3rd note of the scale. All right, I'm just playing the octave of it. So the scale sounds very oriental in a way. So we have. Right. So I was in China some time ago. I was in I was in Shanghai, and we learned one of their songs, a very old song. We learned one of the songs, and it was literally just notes of the pentatonic scale. All right, they use that scale heavily, right, in that region. So we have, when we played it, when we used it, and I just noticed, I said, it didn't go outside of the pentatonic scale. It was literally the notes inside of the scale. I forget how it goes. But yeah, it's a lot of music that uses this pentatonic scale. Very, very popular, very common. All right, and then we're going to go to the minor pentatonic scale. So stay tuned for that. In the next lesson, we're going to be going over the minor pentatonic scale, which is very, very, very common too, especially with bass players, guitar players. All right, so we'll go over that too as well. So that was one position to play it. The next position I'll show you now, it's not that different, all right, but it is, you know, it does switch it up a little bit. All right, so same place. We're going to be playing on the 3rd fret. So same spot, we're going to be playing, but switch with the 1st finger. All right, so that root note is going to be played with our 1st finger now. All right, so now what we do, we have a shift going on here. All right, so 1st note. All right, 1st note shift. That 1st finger shifts up to the 5th fret to the D. All right, 3rd finger plays the 7th fret. The next note, which is G, plays the 5th fret. Did I tell you guys the notes? I'm so sorry. I apologize. So we have C, D, E, G, A, back to C. Okay. All right. So I'm sure you guys knew that. All right. So anyway, that positioning, we have 1 shift, 3 to the E, 1st finger to the G, 3rd finger to the A, and then 1st finger back home. But the only reason why I don't do it like that as much, I don't do it in that position as much, is only because I wanted to utilize my 4th finger a lot more, because at one time my 3rd finger was the most dominant finger. I played with that finger all the time. All right, so I just want to be able to implement my 4th finger inside of that exercise or inside of the scale. So I played it the different way. I played it that different position, but it's still good to know both ways. All right, that doesn't mean you shouldn't learn it, you know, both ways. But anyway, all right, guys, you already know what to do. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them below. I'll try to get to them as soon as I possibly can. Make sure you're playing this slow. You can play it up and down, ascend and descend, play it in the different positions, or even extend it like we did before. All right, guys, until next time, see you.